for pre-need funerals, burials, or cremation since 1975. Courteous & Son Funeral Home, Sylacauga, Childersburg. Funeral service for Deborah Jean McCluskey. That service will be today at Courteous & Son Funeral Home, Childersburg Chapel. Visitation begins at noon until 2, and the service begins at 2 at the Childersburg Chapel. Burial in the Green Hill Memorial Gardens. Courteous & Son Funeral Home, Childersburg Chapel, directing. Cassandra Sandlin died this morning at her residence. Courteous & Son Funeral Home will announce the arrangements. And Mr. John Jordan died in a hospital in Coleman overnight. John Jordan, the Courteous & Son Funeral Home, North Chapel, will announce the arrangements at a later date for Mr. John Jordan. And visitation for Mr. Robert Rickersham will be today, noon until 2 at Courteous & Son North. Funeral service beginning at 2 at the North Chapel. In lieu of flowers, memorials can be given to the Gideons. Courteous & Son Funeral Home, North Chapel, directing. In other obituary news this morning, funeral service for Faye Connell Bice, age 75, is Sunday at 3 o'clock from the chapel of Radley Smith Funeral Home, with Brother Dwayne Sherham officiating. Burial in the Evergreen Cemetery. Visitation will be Saturday from 4 until 6 o'clock at the funeral home. Memorial messages may be sent to the family at radleysmith.com. Radley Smith Funeral Home, Sylacauga, directing. Celebration of Life for Mr. Amir Sherrard Townsend will be Saturday at 2 o'clock from Mountain Home Baptist Church in Sycamore. Visitation is today 5 until 7 o'clock at the funeral home. Grace Memorial Chapel Funeral Home in Sylacauga, directing. Daniel Jacob Shaw, age 23, died September 27th. The family receiving friends tonight, 5 until 8 o'clock at Talladega Funeral Home. Funeral service will be Saturday at the chapel of Talladega Funeral Home beginning at 1 p.m. Talladega Funeral Home, directing. Funeral service for Mr. Grady Milton Garrett, age 86, is 1 o'clock Saturday at Terry's Mortuary Chapel with Pastor Clarence Woodward officiating. The service will be limited to immediate family only. It will be broadcast on Terry's Facebook page. Interment in the Rushing Springs Church Cemetery. Visitation today from 2 until 7 o'clock at Terry's Metropolitan Mortuary. Terry's Metropolitan Mortuary, Talladega, directing. Graveside service for Beverly Gaines, age 71, is Saturday at 1 from Pine Grove Baptist Church Cemetery. Mrs. Gaines died September 21st. Aniston Funeral Service, directing that funeral. That is a look at obituaries this morning, brought to you by Courteous & Son Funeral Home, Sylacauga, Childersburg.